Ah, cheers. Good beginning of the evening. Mm.
A very nice beginning of the evening. Hello, everybody. Rene, good to see you. How is life?
Life is good at the moment, better than half a year ago, but it's very good at the moment. Getting better and better.
Okay, getting better and better. I mean, you had a serious health issue by the end of the last year,
Quite,
and
quite. I
you
you
you all
almost
you
need to
almost
search a rum friend. I was
okay.
really that close.
I know you were quite close, and you almost missed COVID and the whole Corona thing because of that.
What a shame that would be. What a shame that would be.
What a shame.
I wouldn't have
Rene, tell
missed
me,
it. I want to miss it for the world.
how was your time in lockdown? What have you done? What did you do?
For me, it actually didn't feel like a lockdown because of the heavy operation. I was bounded to the house anyway. So for me, it was like, no, yeah, I'm sick, so I have to stay at home, and that's actually it. That's how the whole thing felt. And then, yeah, I can see the news, and it's all about COVID. But for me, it was not. No, I stay home because I'm sick, and that's it.
Okay.
And during that getting better, we have a new house, so this is quite recent. We
Okay.
live here not even a month.
Ooh.
So I only have a few bottles here with me. Here, I have all my bottles in this building, but not here.
Yeah.
Here, it's all a different place because that needs to be sorted out. I'm not so fast these days, so I do it slowly, but then at least it's done well.
I mean, there's no rush in it, is it?
No, no, no. I lost, especially after that last operation. Before that, I already lost speed. As in, I don't care about speed anymore. But now even less. I like relax more. Just
Okay.
chill.
Okay. I mean, you said chill. Shall we go over some questions? Shall we
Only if you want
go
to.
into our topic? We said we are discussing rum. I mean, we said we are discussing real rum, and I mean, the deeper we get, the more we come to the real rum. I hope. Um, would you like to
You never
introduce
know.
yourself? I mean, most of the people know you, but give us a quick introduction who you are.
Well, I'm Rene van Hoven. I started my career as as a chef. I did all kinds of levels, hotels, everything. Michelin star cooking doesn't make me a good chef, by the way, but at least I was there. I can say I was there. It is on my CV. Then I tried to do more in the drinking spirit. So I studied wines. I studied a little bit beer, which was actually strange, but maybe we come to that later. And rum always has been, since I was 17, my thing. And more and more that became on an abnormal level to know more. But in those days when I was young, there was not much information to find at all. So you search the internet. I was quite good with the computer. I met
Hmm.
Louis Ayala on the internet, uh, Edward Hamilton. And we talked, and they had to go to Barbados for a rum festival
Hmm.
done by Mr. Forsyth. And they invited me to come there as well. I had to pay everything myself, but at that moment it was not a problem. So I went, and that's where I started with festivals, and rum only grew, and now I do and did all kinds of rum festivals, and I also do wine and spirits competitions in general. I do now
I
judging
see.
everything. So, but everything now is focused on drinks. I don't do any food anymore, apart from cooking every now and then at home. But everything is focused at rum. That will only increase now since I don't have to work anymore.
Well, you said how you came into the whole thing. Why rum? Why is rum your special thing, Rene?
There is a short answer and there is a slightly bigger answer. But the short one is not clear, because the short answer is, because I didn't like, the short one is not clear. The short answer is, I don't like beer. I didn't like beer. So when I went with 9 friends, there was 10 of us, we went to some disco, and then they ordered a plate of beer. And but I didn't drink that, so they put one Coca-Cola on it, or a Pepsi, whatever, to avoid any branding. And I was, after 2 or 3 of them, I was like filled up. But we had put like 50 euros in a pot, so I would have paid 50 euros for 3 colas. Well, I'm Dutch, so we are on the penny a bit. So I was like, don't they have anything else? And then one of the guys said, I might have something for you. And he came with a Bacardi Coke. Or a
Bacardi was
Daniels Coke, by the way. It's because those two were mixed all the time.
So Bacardi was your entry level.
Yeah, on rum, yes, yeah. And my first whiskey was Jack Daniels, but with Coca-Cola. And then you start to make them at home as well. And instead of a little bit rum with a lot of there is, and a lot of Coca-Cola, at the end it is rum and Coca-Cola. Now it goes reverse. And then at some point, I see some strange bottle from Venezuela. I saw, I believe. Yeah, Cacique. I bought that one. I was told by the one who sold it to me that it should be drank pure. I did that and I survived it. And I was like, wow, this is even better than with Coca-Cola. Because I was never a big Coca-Cola fan. Or Pepsi or whatever brand. So that grew, and young versions became older to now extreme ages. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I know you're traveling quite a lot, or you have been traveling quite a lot before your accident and now the lockdown situation. You're one of the members of Rum XP in America. So whenever we talk rum, there is one name, and that's yours, which comes up quite regularly. What made you just going from? What made you just going from rum?
Something pops in mind. If America mostly means Robert Burr, and he has a nickname for me, which is an accident from another festival where we were together. And that's all. It always makes me smile. Robert, in general, always makes me smile.
Okay.
He always calls me Van Houten because they didn't catch my name quite right. So I'm in America with a small group. I'm Rene van Houten.
Rene van Houten. I see.
Van Houten.
That sounds
the Joker,
promising.
or however you want to translate it. Funny. I don't know where they got it from. It's so incorrect.
I mean, we have to say hello. Paul Dempsey is there. Tobias Gorn is there.
Hey, Paul.
And
Tobias.
Tobias there as well. We can't post comments to personal Facebook profiles. That's why we can't comment anything. It only works with the version for pages. So, okay, let's get back. I mean, you told us going from Bacardi over several other things directly into being a panel judge on almost every important rum competition in the world. And I mean, months ago, you changed your name into Rene's Rarities.
Yeah.
So when did the rarity thing kick in? What is special about Rarities?
Well, I started as soon as I started to see that those more nice rums, I started to buy them. As soon as I saw something, I would buy Cacique, Abuelo, mostly South American, because that was available here through a very strange system, where customs of Schiphol would confiscate bottles from people, but at some point they had like a wall of boxes filled with 1 bottle, 2 bottles, 3 bottles of this, wine and spirits, and they sold it to my old boss. So bit by bit, I bought those bottles from him. So my collection grew faster than I could drink. That's why I have now about 450 bottles. simply because I bought them. They look nice, and I didn't drink them then. So now, since we're more than 30 years later, now it's a collection. And all the time, I didn't dare to open a lot of those bottles. Of course, it's like, if it's in one piece, maybe I can sell it or something. But at some points, I had the knowledge is in the bottle. I have to open it. Then I drink it. Then the knowledge is in me. And whatever is left, I can sell to others. And with the money that I make, then I can buy a new bottle that I didn't know yet. So
Clever move.
it's a vicious circle. But then for me, a very positive one, actually.
Yeah,
So that's
I
what I
agree.
do. Every bottle, I only need 1 or 2 shots. Not even 2 full ones, but 2 small ones. And then the rest I sell to whoever wants to try those old stuff again as well.
And you sell the rest of the bottle, or you sell portions, or how do you sell those things?
No, to festivals, I take, for instance, I have here a bottle of an older plantation, not so old. This is 2005 or 2006. When it's bottled, for me, it's about the bottling then. And then I take that with me, and if people see, well, plantation is at the moment very popular with a lot of people, then they see something that I didn't know yet. So then they can try this one, and then if there's a new plantation, would be fun if it's also in Nicaragua. They can compare it, and for me, that is really fun, and I try to make other people enthusiastic about that as well. That comparing between something new and something old, for me, that's fabulous.
When we talk about rum, and obviously having rarities in the glass, which date back, what's the oldest bottle you own?
We can't date it more back than between 1900 and 1877.
Okay.
That's my oldest bottle, and then that's really one bottle from that century, and then it's like the 1920s, 1930s that I have already some from the 40s, even from the war, and the numbers go up, and a lot of it from the 60s. That's quite easy to get actually these days. 60s.
Really? Still?
Yeah. Only you have to be very careful what you buy, because there is a lot of saying this is from the 60s, but if you do a proper checkup, it's from the 70s. It's not a deadly difference, but and also if they say it's from the 50s, 9 out of 10 times it's from the 60s.
Okay, so they add.
So if you take that in mind, and if you're lucky, it is from the 50s, but mostly it is.
Okay. What is different? I mean, rarities, old bottles, ancient style. Is there a change in style?
Heavily.
Heavily.
In the old days, for instance, there was still like wild fermentation a bit. Of course, less and less, because everybody did understand that it's not that much controllable. But also fermentation was longer, aging was longer, no sugar adding, or at least not that much. So it's totally different from what it is now in 2020. It's incomparable. I have from several brands a version from the last 5 years or the previous 5 years, and things from the 90s, the 80s, the 70s. But that's all so different from each other. Some of them really don't have, like I have a Bautran, a new one from 2 years ago, and I have one from the 1980s. Well, that's not family at all. Everybody would say it's 2 different brands.
Okay.
It's incomparable. Same with I see by accident Zacapa. The Zacapa they make now and the Zacapa they made in the 90s, which I tasted in 2000 in Barbados. That is incomparable. That's incomparable.
I know. I did that comparison as well. I had both the olds and then the recent ones. That's
we had it in Germany, remember? In Switzerland we had it. We went to a friend of you some time ago with a shop, and he had some of the old Zacapa.
Yeah. And absolutely, that's right.
Yeah, and that's that. It's incomparable, and you don't even need them next to each other to notice the difference of the two. It's really that sticks in your mind. Well, at least it sticks in my mind, and that's why I don't need more than 2 shots per bottle to know what the bottle is about.
We have Ulrich Nies joining in, and Mr. Dominic Roscrow as well. Hello, boys. Good to see you. How would you describe that change? Is it just the oak influence and a lower character and much more sugar, or is there a deeper difference?
I think actually that the whole difference between modern rum and old rum started because the rum people, the producers in general, were not paying good attention to what the market wanted. I think most of them were, I think most of them were too late with producing extra, as in they didn't foresee the growth of demand. And if you still want to give everybody their bottle, you do it to the left, you do it to the right, however you do it, the ages need to go down. You don't have 12 years time anymore to bring the rum to the proper age with the proper condition, with the proper in the proper condition, with the proper taste. So they do it in 10 years or maybe even in 8 years. Most of them don't have a real age statement on it, but an age name, a reserve or whatever. So you can fool with whatever you put in it. Mm-hmm. And I think actually they were all too late. And also, if you want to buy barrels now from companies like Diplomático or Kashik, they don't sell the old stuff anymore because they know they cannot reproduce it fast enough, and they're already behind. So they sell nothing of the good old stuff anymore.
Okay.
And I think it's really they missed the insight, like, oh, the rum is going to grow. No, they missed it, so they have to do it in a different way.
Yeah, understand. I mean, we are both old enough to remember those old trade differences, talking about white, golden, and dark rum, which is complete bullshit. Because
don't say those things when I'm drinking.
You can see the color yourself, but it doesn't give you any indication on what's in the bottle. But I mean,
no, it's the same like what I said now. A reserve. What's reserve? What's reserve?
Yeah, sure. I think we get to reserve and EXO and stuff like that a little bit later. I mean, do you still agree with going with a British, a French, and a Spanish style, or is that again to be thought about?
How do you mean it? Sorry, I didn't.
I mean, we years ago there came up that classification to talk about the British style, a French style, and a Spanish style. Do you think that's still valid, or should we go further?
There is a big scene that wants to go into very specific names. Ruruki Gagano came up with age statement, not an age statement, but there's a system that explains what's on the label. I don't totally agree with that thing. I love the idea, but at some point they talk about pure rum. I ask you now, what is pure? A pure rum, what does it stand for? If you know it? Oh, you don't. But from what I understand a little bit in all those names, is pure should stand for that it's a pot still. Well, why don't you call it a pot rum? Easier, then everybody understands it. Everybody who knows a little bit and the name comes by new, you understand what it is. Like there is, that's probably very interesting for Tobias and for Domroska. There is a rum. I forgot precisely which one it was. Sorry, it's not to be polite to them because I don't. I'm not polite. But they have a malt rum. What's malt about that rum? Malt is a malting system with barley, and you malt it. Well, they will explain it when they do their talk. Why would call it? That's really so wrong. Most people don't understand how they should use names, and pure rum beats me.
There's a good question. There's just a good question coming in from Toby. who asks,
possible.
can rum be pure or is it boring? Question mark.
Well, this is the answer. This is I'm having some Eldorado 50 now, so I drink pure. I never add water in anything, also not in my whiskeys. I think with Tobias had that discussion already. Ice, and we also discussed about glasses. Yeah, you can drink it pure. Not everything, of course. Like, for instance, that first Bacardi that I ever tried in my life, I wouldn't like to try that pure. I'm probably gonna, because I have some old stuff, and to compare it with the new one, I have to drink it pure. But normally I don't drink that pure. But you have plenty. Rum is really gonna be, well, a very heavy competitor of whiskey.
Agree, but I mean, you
If
go
they,
for
well, they
pure.
already are. So
You go for the pure and say you drink it neat. But
yeah,
is that idea of pure rum to drink it neat or nothing is added? Or what is the idea of pure rum?
the name, but you mean the one that I mentioned?
Yeah, right.
No, it's trying to explain that if you see that name, that you know how it's produced, if it's pot still or continuous still. But all those kind of things you cannot see in the word pure. Pure, for me, pure. If somebody would say this is pure rum, and nothing, and there are several more names in it, but nothing more, I would think it's a continuous still, and it's made as high in alcohol as possible. So there's nothing in it. It's the purest form, and it's not diluted. I think that's pure.
I mean, I got something in my hand, and we looked at the bottle before. This is Kill Devil. This is
The
Jamaica.
Jamaica, the Hamden.
The Hamden one.
Yeah.
And if we talk about Hamden and heavy ester, I mean, at least that's far away from pure. I mean, if you look at the production, you know what I mean. I
Yeah,
think
but
Toby meant say pure as clinically clean and boring. So pure would be more towards a style of vodka.
I agree with that, because there's plenty producers of alcohol in general. I'm pouring now the Nicaragua, by the way, just to change a bit. But there's
So
plenty of people who
I think I
who
see
want to
that.
produce their alcohol as clean as possible. I have there out of reach. I have bottles from Jack Daniels. I have the
Okay.
normal one, so as Jack Daniels sells, and then I have the one that is the unaged Jack Daniels. But I also have the one before it's filtered. So I have the unfiltered white dog, I have the filtered white dog, and then the Jack Daniels as you buy in the bottle.
Okay.
Especially if you, then the fun is to compare those white dogs, but then the one before the filtering really has flavor. There's a grain thing in it, and that one, well, for a white one, for a white dog, that I like. Then I tried the charcoal filtered one. It's even less than vodka, because it's like dead vodka. There's no body in it. It's totally gone. But that is the whiskey or the white dog that they use. So why not keep the flavor in it? Then you add wood, and you have wood next to flavor. But no, apparently well, maybe I'm the only one who complains, because they still sell like hell. But I really don't
Well,
understand. That's
I mean,
something I will never understand how that works.
we both know that people are commonly not looking for a characterful spirit. It should be not that characterful and have lots of oak and vanilla influence. Um, the sissy things. Let's get back to the categories of rum. I mean, we talked about those three, and obviously two of them are made of molasses, and one of them is made from sugarcane juice. Also, I mean, there's a quite big difference between sugarcane juice rums and molasses rums. What are your favorite products? Molasses or? sugarcane
molasses.
juice?
I have quite a big set of Martinique, a little bit Réunion. Most of it is Martinique since I was there. So I took a lot of bottles back home, which is possible because Martinique is domaine outre-mer, like a French overseas area. So when I fly from Amsterdam to Paris and from Paris to Martinique, although it takes me like 15 hours to get there in total, I'm still in Europe, tax-wise. So I came home with 15 bottles. 2 broke, unfortunately, but that was
goodness me.
I noticed those were the lesser ones anyway, not the best. So that was fun. But I really love Martinique. I love rum with character. I love a Guyana. I love a classical high ester Jamaica. Those kind of things, especially when it's aged. The older is not always better, but if it's properly aged, I love it.
Well, the young ones can be quite intense and pungent.
Yeah. No, there's also plenty totally unaged the Martinique, etc. that I like. Well, I remember I was in the north of Martinique with GM, and as I arrived there, they were producing. Well, that smell is like that's like the best perfume for me possible. That is so nice, and then you're not even drinking it; you're just in the fume. Of course, then I was talking to the master blender, master distiller, different guy, and he gave me a bit, still a little bit warm, not hot, but like not totally cooled down. That is wonderful stuff. And that goes to a tank, and 1 hour later, it's in the bottle. That's how fast it went. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, okay, that makes it quite clear. I know you wrote a book about Zacapa.
Oh yeah, did I?
And
Where is he? Oh, he's over there. Oh, there.
I have it on the shelf over there. So
Yeah, out of reach, but the earplug.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, going back to Zacapa. I know they've been the first. I think they've been the first one to come up with the term virgin sugarcane honey. And literally, it's sugarcane juice, and they evaporate the water to make it.
It's boiled juice. Yeah.
Right. I mean, they take out the water to be able to store it.
Yeah, condensed.
Condensed, right? I mean, does it keep? Have you ever had the chance to taste that virgin sugarcane honey?
Yeah,
Does it keep the characteristics?
No. It's different. No. I've had at this moment, I've had sugarcane juice on fresh one, really freshly pressed, right in front of me, on 5 continents. I had one in China that was really terrible. That was the one in Barbados was very good. The one in Martinique was very good. Taiwan was so-so. South Africa was quite nice. But no, there's a big difference. As soon as they boil it, it is closer to blackstrap molasses than it is to juice, per definition. It's only blackstrap molasses. I also tried blackstrap molasses. I tried virgin sugarcane honey, or pure, before it was made into rum. It doesn't. The virgin sugarcane honey doesn't have the bitter as such. It's not that much concentration. It's not that much to the Marmite style. It's a little bit relaxeder. It's a very thick, concentrated syrup. Very nice on your pancakes, by the way. And blackstrap, I wouldn't do on my pancakes, but that's roughly the difference only. It's a small difference between those two.
There's always the discussion going. I mean, if you separate the aroma profiles of a French style and then have the molasses, people say, well, it's somewhere in between. If you take virgin sugarcane honey as a raw material, it keeps a certain freshness That's why I've been asking you: is it keeping the characteristics? And obviously, you said it's not going to happen.
No, because I also have seen and smelled the production of Zacapa, virgin sugarcane honey. I tried the fresh stuff. No. Like I said, it's closer to molasses, but then a little bit more freshness, a little bit more fruitier, maybe those kind of words. But no, it's the fasu or the fresh juice is really a thing on its own, and it's also a thing you like it or hate it. So, and I love it. Coincidental, but that's a totally different league. Yeah, no, that's totally different.
I mean, we almost ticked all the boxes for raw materials possible. We talked about blackstrap molasses, which is mostly used. Then
Yeah,
we talked about
I think at the moment
sugarcane juice.
95%, yeah.
Yeah,
All the big names
we
are
talked
there.
about virgin sugarcane honey, and we had sugarcane juice. I mean, I know, and it's a quite hard and long discussion, which always pops up sometimes. There is rum made from crystallized sugar.
Yeah. And I've had discussion also with Richard Seal about it. He says that's not allowed, maybe not everywhere, and I don't know where it is precisely or where not. But I have tasted it in America as in an official rum from America. So it is possible. Then he says, no, it's not rum because it's not quality. I didn't say it's quality. And then you also get maybe a little bit the discussion about what's real rum. It's not just the flavor in the end, because that's subjective. You like it or you don't like it. But technically, if you simply look at the law, it is allowed in most countries, in a lot of countries. And a
I
lot
mean,
of
I
laws
knew it's allowed in America.
less and less. Sorry?
I know it's allowed in America, and we had that discussion about half a year ago, where also Richard jumped in because I said, "What the hell are you showing crystallized sugar in a video promoting rum knowledge?" And well, it's allowed, and the law says you can do it. Richard told us quite clearly that comes from the law because in the molasses there can be sugar crystals in, so that's the reason why they say it's allowed to be made from crystallized sugar. But obviously it needs to be brown one.
It's not just sugar. It's not the cleaned up sugar. No, it is in history. It happened in the steps. We didn't put them in order of time, but the first rum must have been made from pure juice because that happened. It happens automatically that it turns into a wine. So it's very easy to make that into a rum. That's a different technique. Of course, you need distillation, but like sugar wine, that already existed for God knows how many years, or centuries, I mean, because it happens automatically. You get a fermentation as soon as the sugar level is low enough or the water level rises. That happens automatically. Then the next step, you need a technique for it. Then you get virgin cane sugar honey. That made the sugar transportable. So also the islands who don't have sugar cane themselves could make rum. But it needs an extra technique. Then later that technique got perfected and you could concentrate more and more. And then they could crystallize part of it, take that sugar out, and have blackstrap molasses. The blackstrap molasses was mostly given away, or for the cows, or well, they did all kinds of things with that. But the sugar then was the money actually, and it's that precise sugar. With that, you can make a rum, and it's not good stuff, I must admit, but technically it is a rum. So
Yeah,
not
no, I
the
know.
bleached white ones, of course. That has nothing. But if you buy fresh Demerara rum, Demerara sugar, we can get that here. I always love to smell the sugar first before I pour it in a drink, in my coffee or my tea. I love that smell.
I mean, that's the perfect sentence to go over to the next topic, because you just mentioned Demerara sugar and how you like to smell it. I had a beautiful Asian spirit made out of brown sugar, and you could clearly smell all those Demerara characteristics shining through. I mean, obviously it's not been labeled as rum, but you could pick all those Demerara sugar flavors, which were very, very intense and very present. Which brings me to my next question I wanted to ask you. I mean, we talk about rum and we have all those raw materials, but we have a lot of sugarcane spirits which are not labeled as rum. Are they any different? Is it just a naming issue? I mean, commonly talking about cachaça as one of the biggest elephant in the room.
It is a little bit on a political level, and I'm probably not allowed to get in Brazil anymore. But I was there. You were there, I think, as well.
No, I've not been to Brazil. I couldn't go that year.
No, but we were there, and if you look at the law for rum and you look at the law for cachaça, to keep it simple, the one of cachaça fits 100% in the one of rum. There's nothing in the cachaça, well, almost nothing, that bounces it out as in, no, this can't be rum. They also have pure juice, the adding of water to dilute it a bit, and yeast. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
The only main difference that cachaça has is that they use all kind of different woods to age it in. That's the only difference that they have. So they don't have American white oak and those kind of things. They have 38 or 39 different kind of woods. And some of them are really, really interesting. We had a tasting with the same spirit aged in 10 different barrels. Those are quite some differences. And that's really, you learn a lot from those kind of things, what wood really does.
I mean,
but that is actually difficult, maybe, because I believe it's technically not oak.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The first thing that comes to my mind is amburana wood, which is quite used a lot in Brazil for stuff like that. I recognize there is now at least one rum from Brazil available here in Europe. They really label it as rum, and presumably it's still made from sugarcane juice.
Highly likely, because there is not much sugar production in that area, funny enough. So yeah, but also if they label it rum and not cachaça, they are not within the cachaça law at all. For instance, the alcohol of cachaça, it needs to be pot still. Well, most of it is pot still, by the way. Some of it is continuous still. But when they produce it, the alcohol needs to stay between 38 and 48% of alcohol. But if you call it rum, you can skip that rule. You can make it up. You can extract much more alcohol out of the basic product. You make more liters, not more alcohol as such, but you make more liters. So there is more to sell. They can go to 75%. And then they can sell it as rum. So nobody's harmed, actually, because technically it is a rum then. They just fit in the European or American rum law when they import it.
Coming back to the old question, I'm asking everyone, how is rum drank? Is it a cocktail thing? Is it something to drink neat?
The drinking neat, that's the growing thing at the moment. That's where there's a lot of things happening then with collectors of bottles. Fellier is immense popular. Foursquare is immense popular. Yesterday there was a 10-year-old. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? A 10-year-old Barbados from 1998 sold for 3,200 euros. It's only 10 years old. It is bottled in 2008. So to my standard, it's like, it's on the edge. This one is already, this is 2005, 2006. That's already on the edge of shall I take it with me? So it's not really old. Okay, it was limited, but 1 million is also limited as long as you don't make 1 million plus one. So limited is also a subjective word. Yeah, prices go sky high for those kind of things, but rum always has been a very cocktail product. There is no bar, I think, in the world that doesn't have proper rum cocktails with different rums. It's the tiki, the whole tiki culture is 100% based on rum. It will only grow. That will only grow as well. Rum is very popular in all flavor, all kinds of areas.
Martin Santa Maria just joined us. A tick too late for the discussion about our cachaça.
I see you.
Good to see you. And yes, of course, we remember who you are.
Even after all these things, we remember some things or two.
Okay, I mean, that question we just talked about, and you gave a quite clear answer. You think drinking neat is the future of rum. It's also my idea of how to drink rum. But if we look at the European law, from next year onwards, I mean, I do quite a lot of rum tastings these days and rum dinners. I just had one on Saturday, and let's put it politely, it's interesting to see how the consumers behave. I mean, they want sweet, they like sugar, and the more of it, the better. And we both know there are brands that are easily from 30 to 90 grams per liter. From next year onwards, the European law says.
I'm not good in numbers, but I know this has quite some sugar already.
Yeah.
This one is from the 90s. It's not as sweet as it's made now. If you compare it, then this is it's also not dry, but it's for sure the drier version.
Oh, Lala is drinking Flor de Cana. Nice stuff.
That's what I'm drinking. Well, I think it's because it doesn't say, but I drink Plantation Nicaragua now.
Okay. What I wanted to ask you as one of the last questions, if we have that maximum sugar content of 20 grams, what do you think? Where will that lead to? Are the big brands really taking down sugar levels, or are they just like we saw with Jack Daniel's Winter Apple or Winter Jack, that they just vanish the word rum and keep the brand name? Or what is your vision on that?
You can play with names. Because if your name as such is already super duper popular, then you can put it on everything or a part of it. Everybody will recognize it as such. If Plantation brings you and it says on the label spirit, most people won't know that it's then technically not a rum. So maybe the basic ingredient is not as such, or they twisted a thing here or there. Nobody knows. Everybody looks at the name Plantation, and if they see Plantation Barbados, they skip the word spirit. They think it's rum. So, yeah, rum is a spirit, so it's the same. You can play a lot with it.
That already happens quite a lot.
Knowing that Plantation owns a distillery in Barbados. So that is a possible scenario.
I mean, that happens quite a lot these days, that they already do and write spirity drink on the back label, and just create the label like showing it should be a rum. But I think that's a gray area.
Europe has technically, and so does America. They have quite strict rules what should be named rum and what restrictions they have. This is allowed, this definitely not. And very, very clear in those kind of things. Very precise, quite precise. But if nobody checks if the product that comes into Europe or America, then those rules mean nothing. So rules only are as good as the people who do the checking. And there is almost no checking. There is no priority. Rum comes in, it says rum on the label, then it's already good for them. It means a lot of tax. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of income. Okay, we could check and maybe find out that it's not as much rum as we think it is, but it's a lot of money. But technically, I know that a little bit by accident, that is not even happening because they simply don't check at all or hardly. They do it like, okay, now we do a check, and then they check 1 or 2, 3 products, and they go back to do other things. There is no checking on those kind of things. So there's a lot of slipping between the rules. So we still have products on the European market that is called rum, but technically isn't rum. You know, I see it over there, a bottle of Pirate. Well, anybody who says that is pure a sugarcane product with yeast and maybe a little bit water, I say you're fucking crazy. Is that allowed, by the way? Is this an 18 plus video?
Yeah,
But
I think the other one.
there must be something added. There must be some orange peel or something that reminds me of orange peel.
Yeah.
That cannot be. But the label says definitely it is a rum. That is not a rum, technically. But there's no checking, so it's on the market.
I
And
think
the
I
government
think we
money.
I think we shouldn't go in too much into the additives thing because that would be endless discussion.
2 more programs for that.
Well, Rene, what are your future plans? Tell me, any travels in the second half of the year, or you
Well,
just
this year,
relax and wait?
because of my operation, that's why I'm wearing this high one because the operation can be seen from here. I have a big stripe now on it. No, this year I will do. I'll stay gentle. I don't do much things. I should be in August in Africa. Well, also during because of the COVID. Now apparently, I'm not many Europeans are coming anyway. So this year I don't do that much. Maybe a thing or two, but nothing specifically yet. Next year, Paris. I hope again. Spa is already confirmed. Berlin. Nuremberg is already confirmed. And since I lost, I didn't have any New Year. I went into the operation room on December 31st, and I woke up on January 2nd. So I missed a bit. So it doesn't feel to me like a New Year this time. But we didn't have a proper holiday recently. So I would actually love to go to Jamaica, visit all the distilleries, do a little bit beach. Then my girlfriend can go on the beach. I will stay in the bar and have some pina colada and some relaxed local specialties. So that's actually the plan. And next year, I hope some more festivals, but I need to be able to drive from Amsterdam to the location. So I would love to go to Lavrum in Poland, but it may be too far. Then again, my girlfriend is from Poland, so maybe we can go to Poland already to visit the family, or at least make a combination. Then I take 50, 60, 70 bottles with me, and I can be on the festival. We have to see how that works out. But I still like that. I like that plan.
I have one more date for you to add to your tour calendar. We're going to have the Swiss Spirit Summit and the tasting around March 1st and 2nd. So you should pencil that into your tour calendar and keep those dates. Okay.
Yeah, because I missed the last one, so I definitely want that to be this time.
Yeah, we missed you a lot, and looking forward to seeing you.
2019 was not my year. Not my year. No, I'm really born again. I'm totally different from a little bit more than a half year now ago. This from here. It all should be better.
Cool. Our next date is Nuremberg, as you already said. if everything
Is it?
goes
But
straight.
because I haven't heard anything, not confirmed yet. I have no.
Oh, well, the fair itself is confirmed, and
Okay.
I haven't had any confirmation for our gig as well, but I'm pretty sure that will come up, and we are seeing us in Nuremberg for some nice sausages and some beers.
You said this is 18 plus because that is always some fucking work. I'm always quite tired after that. It's only 3 days work, but that is some 3 super duper heavy. But it's also super duper fun. It's really
Okay,
one of my favorite events. Yeah, it's really
it
fun.
is. It is.
Yeah,
That's
together
truly,
with Bernard,
truly
that's really fun.
okay. Rene, thanks very much for your time. Thank you very much to the others watching us. We had some good old friends joining us in. You stay. We end the broadcast, and thanks very much for watching.
And
Next
then we have
week
a proper
on
drink.
Thursday, yeah, absolutely. Next week on Thursday, we have another friend of us. It's Thierry Heinz from Concours
Okay.
Mondial, which is going to talk with us a little bit about judging and spirits competitions. So that's next Thursday, 8 p.m. Stay tuned, and thanks very much for watching. Bye bye.
Bye bye.